If we've never met before, I am Dom. It is such a pleasure to be here with you for your hour yoga flow. Props if you would like to use them. I always like to keep a blanket handy. Blocks are there if you would like to use them, or block substitutes. You can use cans of soup, whatever floats your boat. If you are watching on Instagram, we are also live on YouTube. Dominique Cheshire Movement is where that will be saved, and you just have sort of a bigger stage to look at as we're there. I hope we've all been doing well. It's so nice to be here. Let's start today. Let's start seated. So I'm just going to collect. I have a little cushion I like to sit up on. You're welcome to collect any blankets or pillows, or if you have a cushion as well. Honestly, the day I got a meditation cushion, I feel like my life changed. So you can sit cross-legged or however feels most comfortable to you. And class, I always like to design class as more of a blueprint, so sort of a framework of how we'll move, and I try to get as many options going as I can, but I am only one person, so if it takes me a little bit longer to get to the option that's most appropriate for you, please feel free to freestyle. This is your practice, your body, your choice, so really take everything I offer with a grain of salt because it's your time to move for you. So arriving however feels most reasonable, take a nice big breath in through the nose. And exhale, can we head out? Let's do that again. Maybe let's add those arms. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to push it away. One more time. Inhale. Big reach up overhead. Exhale to bring those arms down. Letting the hands rest on the legs or the lap. Bringing those inhales and exhales a little more inward. You're welcome to close your eyes if you'd like, maybe turning your gaze a little bit more inward or down. And if you practice with an Ujjayi breath and you would like to continue, or you would like to start through practice, please feel free. A little practice of that right now. We're going to inhale in through the nose and exhale regularly out through the mouth. Inhale it in through the nose, maybe placing a hand on your belly or your chest. Exhaling it out. Now we're going to inhale in through the nose. And as you exhale out through your nose, can you make it feel like you were blowing out through a straw? So instead of a through your mouth, you're going to through the nose. And there's a little bit, keep practicing, a little bit of a constriction that arrives there. Ujjayi breath exists for movement of energy and containment of energy. So we're not leaking extra things out. However, I flow back and forth between a nose and a mouth breath. So truly, whatever feels most reasonable for you. I believe in a free the yawn approach. So if one comes up, please don't stifle it. Again, we're letting energy move in the body. Gently nodding our chin down towards our chest. Gently starting to circle that head around to the right. Dropping it through center. And then over to the left. Inhaling it down. Around to the right. Down through center. Over to the left. Just sort of massaging out these little sways through the head and resisting the sensational experience of sort of like pulling and reaching. We're going to release through our traps and our elevator scalp in a different kind of a way today. Circling and circling. When we are ready, bringing our head upright, we're going to turn our chin, our eyes, to the right. And as we turn to the right, can we turn our left arm internally? So it's going to go internally. It's nice because I'm wearing stripes so you can kind of see. So looking to the right, left arm turns internally, and we're going to just squeeze that shoulder up and then drop it down. Squeeze that shoulder up and drop it down. Two more. Squeeze it up there and let it go. One more time. Squeeze it up. Let it go. Turn your gaze around to the left. Externally rotate through your arm And then same thing, squeeze that shoulder up and let it go. Squeeze that shoulder up. So we're isolating elevator scap and upper trapezius, like to fire together often. And they get really excited about working. And so just taking a moment to find each of them and give them a moment of, yes, we've seen you. So they don't feel like, oh gosh, I apologize. So they don't feel like they have to take over for the bulk of practice. Turning our nose to the left, turning your right arm internally this time. Squeeze it up and hold it there. And then drop it down. Squeeze it up and hold it there. And drop it. Squeeze and lift and hold. And down. Squeeze and lift and hold. And down. One more time. Squeeze and lift and hold. And bring it down. Let's turn the gaze over to the right. Right arm is going to externally rotate. Palm comes towards forward. We're going to squeeze and lift. And bring it down. Squeeze and lift. So again, this might feel a little precarious, a little like, what is the point of this? And it's so that when we get into things like pushing in our downward dog, holding our planks, any sort of rotation, anytime we lift the arms, that these two muscles that bring us up into a bit of elevation, that they've been seen and they've been worked because they like to work. Both our arms are going to shrug up, both shoulders shrug up. Hold them there for 3, for 2, for 1, and down. Bring them up for 3. Squeeze them up there 2. Squeeze them up there 1. If you get migraines, not like, again, take with a grain of salt, but maybe a good practice to see where do we feel these muscles as we're moving, because chances are if they're feeling not quite exercised or moved in their best possible way, it could start to pull and create migraines. And down one more time. It's so funny because of the stripes on my shirt. It makes me look extra shrugged up. Bring those shoulders up to the ears. Bring them down behind you. Inhale, reach those arms up. Interlace your fingers. Push the ceiling away. Give yourself a nice side. Bend over to the right. Up through center side. Bend over to the left. Oh, big stretches. Up through center. Let's go over to the right again. Release that right hand. So right hand comes down to the mat. Left arm reaches up overhead. Staying seated on that left sit bone. Take a breath in here. As we breathe out, coming all the way up. Interlace those fingers again. Push the ceiling away. Take it up and over to the left. And then left arm comes down, right arm up overhead. Try to keep that right sit bone nice and heavy. Breathing in here. Breathing it out. One more time. Nice big reach with the arms up. Let's circle the arms behind us. Let's tent up through those fingers behind us and lengthen the chest out and up. Watching the tension in the neck that we don't want to throw the neck back. We're going to keep the gaze forward. Lifting and lengthening for 3. Lifting and lengthening for 2. Lifting and lengthening for 1. Gently bringing one arm at a time back up in space. Let's keep the cushion where it is, actually. I was going to say slide it out, but I've changed my mind. Let's keep the cushion where it is. Let's leg into those legs and hips. So let's take the right leg out to the right, reaching on a low. If you were in a box, you'd be reaching to that like bottom right. Gonna scoot over a little bit for Instagram, bottom right corner here. Let's take that left arm up again. So we're going for our side bend, but we've added a bit of a hamstring to this as well. Inhaling to maybe release a little bit and exhaling to take that side bend over. Inhaling to release a little bit. Exhaling. Now, as you're allowing this side bend to occur, the right quadricep muscle is nice and contracted, the right heel pressing into the floor and drawing back. One more time, breathing in here. We're going to come all the way up. We're going to add a little bit of a lift to this. So your left hand is going to come down beside your left hip. Press into that right leg. Maybe the right foot finds the floor. Let's lift the left. Let's lift the hips up. Nice big stretch here. And then maybe we circle around into that right side bend. Circling the arms back through center all the way up and over towards the left. Big lift, squeeze of the glutes. Lowering ourselves with control. Finding our way into that right side bend. 2 more. So I love a good circulation here. Again, it just sort of adds a little more movement to our spine, to not just the bones, but the fascia, the ligaments, the muscles, the tissues. One more time. Circle around to the left. Big reach up here. Bring it around through center to the right. And then let's bring ourselves all the way back up. Whew, feeling a little more loosey-goosey. Going the other way, left leg is going to come out. And it doesn't have to be super duper wide. Yeah, I don't think we're auditioning for the National Ballet, or maybe you are. Maybe you are, that's totally fair. But for those of us that aren't, don't worry about your leg being too wide, yes? Taking that right arm up this time. So flex through that left foot, toes to the ceiling, left quadricep on, left heel to the floor, side bending it over. Taking a few breaths, maybe to inhale, release a little bit. And exhaling over. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. One more time, inhaling it up. And exhaling it over. Maybe starting to consider adding that circle. So we sweep through center. Right hand comes down beside that right hip. Let's lift the hips up. Maybe planting that left foot on the floor, however it wants to go. And then circling around. So not being too terribly precious about this. Letting the movement just be pretty responsive in the body. Letting it be pretty organic to however it wants to move. Not really super worrying about what the shape looks like, but more so just enjoying, hopefully, how it feels to circulate the body, lifting into a bit of extension, still remaining connected to a contraction on that left quad. One more time here. Circling around, planting the right hand on the floor. Now, of course, if you don't want to be lifting up, you don't have to. Bringing yourself into the left side bend all the way up in space. You can plant those feet on the floor. If you have a cushion or a blanket or anything underneath your hips, you're welcome to remove it. Let's take our feet on the floor. Let's roll all the way down onto our backs. Feeling the feet planted, taking an inhale here. And as we breathe out, gently starting to scoop and roll through your pelvis, lifting your hips up one vertebrae at a time, keeping this idea of length out through the thighs. Taking your breath in here, please. As we breathe out, gently rolling our spines down to the floor. Inhale, little release. As we exhale, scooping through that belly, pressing through the feet, lifting up through the glutes, lengthening out through the front of the body. Inhaling here. And then exhaling to scoop, tuck, and roll your way all the way down. 2 more. Exhaling, pressing feet through floor, lifting up through glutes, lengthening out through front of thighs. Taking your inhale here. As we exhale, massaging your vertebrae. So yeah, really giving yourself that chance to feel length. One more time, let's roll our pelvis up and then pause. Let's add a little bit of glutes here. So check in with your hip bones. Can we make sure they're really nice and level? And if you're comfortable touching your hip bones, feel free to do so. Without letting the thighs move, we're going to tip the right hip down towards the right. We're going to fire that right bum cheek and lift the hips back up. Left hip tips down towards the left. Fire the left glute, lift it up. Right hip tips down to the right. Now my thighs aren't moving. Squeeze the glute to lift. So we're working on a little bit of balancing of the pelvis here. Definitely firing through those glutes. Lift it up. Left hip down to the left. Squeeze and lift. Right hip around to the right. Squeeze and lift one more time. I'm hoping you're feeling your glutes here. Maybe reach those arms up. Can we super squeeze? Press your feet into the floor. Draw your heels in towards your glutes. Fire up through those bum cheeks. Rib cages in for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's gently roll ourselves to the floor. Nice job. You can give those hips a little windshield wiper. However you would like to make your way up and forward into hands and knees, please feel free to get there. Coming onto hands and knees, let's give our wrists a little moment to just sort of acclimatize. So we're going to circle our weight back towards our heels, around to the right, forward in space, around to the left, and then back. Connecting back in with your breath. Now remember, we talked about that Ujjayi breath, that inhaling and exhaling through your nose, where you have that constricted breath out. You're super duper welcome to have that happening here. Let's go the other way, circling around to the left, forward in space, and around to the right and back. And as we're working here, just again, noticing where maybe it feels fine, like not a big deal, or maybe not so fabulous as you're moving, and just honoring that, yes, whenever we come to any sort of shape on hands and knees. One more circle here. Exhaling it out. Bringing it forward. We're going to walk the hands forward ever so slightly. We're going to take those legs back ever so slightly, and right away find ourselves in a kneeling plank. So little bits of housekeeping here. Let's squeeze through the glutes. Press the floor away. Feel like your hands are opening wide, and then hug the shoulder blades down the back. And keep pushing and keep hugging them down the back and in towards each other. Glutes are on here, belly is in. Maybe this is all going well. You'd like to add a lift of the thighs for your plank for 3, for 2, for 1. If you'd like to slide back into a child's pose, you can. If you'd like to lift up and back into your first downward dog, you're welcome to be there as well. Take a nice big breath in wherever you have landed. Exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Pedaling out through those feet. Keep pushing the floor away. Rib cage is drawn in. And then we're going to ripple forward again in space. So kneeling plank is definitely an option. You could definitely be on forearms if you'd like to as well. Keep feeling all those little housekeeping moments, pushing the floor away, hands drawing wide, heels of the hands hugging down, rib cages and glutes are on long spine, and then maybe add the thighs to join you. And wherever you are, if you'd like to lift that right leg up a little bit in space without losing your housekeeping, you could be forearms, you could be left knee down, you could be left thigh up for 3, for 2, for 1. You can keep the right leg up as you reach back into a 3-legged dog. You could find yourself into a downward dog first. You could be on hands and knees with that right leg still lifted. Yeah, we're just going to play with that right leg a little bit lifted up in space. So can we circle out, keep those hips as square as you can for now. Circle out through that ankle. If I walk forward, maybe Instagram will see me. Wiggling through that ankle, taking it the other way, and then checking in with your housekeeping posture here. Yeah, remember we did all that pushing. We're drawing the rib cage in. Left knee might need to slightly bend a little bit to accommodate this reach. Let's pull the right leg through, squeeze, 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 and then let's place the shin on the floor, something I've been loving playing with. We're going to take this shin, we're going to swivel it around so we can sit on that right hip. Yeah, I'll do that again for you. So we were up, we pulled in, shin came down, and we just did a little swivel-a-roo. We're going to come to that 90-90 we've been loving so much recently. It's a really great complement to pigeon without actually doing pigeon. Finding the right leg out 90 degrees from the hip, so thigh to hip is a straight line, hip knee to ankle. And then same with that back leg. Let's squeeze those legs in, tens, 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 and maybe take a little tip forward. Now, if this feels incredibly, there's no way, Jose, that this is happening, you can take your blankets, pillows, cushions, bring the floor up to you. Yeah, this is what this looks like in my body, but it definitely doesn't have to look like this in your body. So we're hugging the front femur in, we're hugging the back femur forward, we're squeezing everything into center. Maybe there's a reach of the arms here for you. Stay as active as you can, and maybe that means we're here, and that's totally fine. Wherever you are, can you create as much tension in your body as possible for 3, squeeze, 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 squeeze for 2, wherever you are is perfect. Last 1. We're going to reverse engineer this. So we're going to take those hands forward. Ooh, moment of a nice stretch. We're going to wiggle that back leg. Maybe this will be the most ungraceful thing ever. Squeeze the right thigh in, reach the right thigh up and back into that 3-legged dog, and then place it down. Inhale to come forward. Find your version of a plank. So hands are pushing the floor away. Shoulder blades on your back. Rib cage is drawn in. Hug those knees forward, lengthening out through your spine. Now maybe there's a moment here where the thighs want to lift into your full plank, and then wherever you are, maybe that left leg lifts up to hover. You could be on your forearms. You could be forearms and legs are lifted off the floor. You could be on your hands. You could be up in a plank. Wherever you are for 3, please. Don't lose that housekeeping. For 2, For one, and we lift up and back. I'm getting warm now. My house is freezing, and now I'm toasty. Keeping the hips as square as you can to start. Remember, you could always be down in a tabletop. Let's take that top ankle. Let's give it a little swivel around. Swiveling it the opposite way. Continually pushing that floor away, zipping up through those arms. Gentle bend in the knee if you'd like, if that's going to help lengthen out through your tail. From here, we pause, we pull the left thigh in, and then we sneaky tap it on the floor. We swivel that left ankle out. We just slide down. I'm just going to derobe one layer now. Whew. Getting toasty. Okay, so that left thigh comes forward about 90 degrees as best as you can. The thigh is in line with the hip, and then the knee comes out to the ankle. Same with that back leg. Mine always likes to sneak in. Now again, it might not look like this. It might be a little higher, in which case grab pillows, pop them underneath your pelvis to lift you up, yeah? I've been practicing this for a while, so it definitely wasn't always this mobile. Hug the left thigh back. Hug it into your hip socket. Try to bring that right thigh forward, pressing the legs into the floor, zipping up through our bellies. Now, maybe the hands on the floor feel the most fabulous. Maybe reaching them up feels pretty fabulous as well. But wherever you are, can you create so much tension in your body here? For 3, squeezing and pressing, squeezing and pressing. For 2, squeezing and pressing, squeezing and pressing. For 1, bring it down. We sort of maybe gracefully transition, but maybe not. Starting to wiggle those legs back, press into the floor. Can we lift up into that thigh? Take the left leg back and then press it down. Together, let's ripple forward into the plank of your choice. Dropping down through the knees, can we pull the elbows in towards the waist as we open the collarbones lower to the floor? Flip your toenails as we inhale, lengthen up through that upper body. And then exhale to lower down. A little bit of housekeeping. Legs are on, pubic bone to the floor. Inhale to lengthen the collarbones, chest forward. Maybe you hover the hands for a second. Make sure you're not pushing your ribs into the floor, yeah? Because you won't be able to breathe, and that's not good. One more time. Inhale to lengthen out and up. We're going to pause here. We're going to housekeep. Hug the shoulder blades onto the back. And then maybe wiggle those hands forward. So you're staying up in this really lovely moment of extension. Hands are going to come forward. Keep the elbows where they are. Let's pivot the forearm and the fingertips out. So they're on a little bit of a V here. We're going to stay long through the spine. We're going to keep trying to find more pubic bone to the floor. Let's start to turn those hands to face in towards each other. And then let's keep rotating the palms. And as the palms start to reach up towards the ceiling, can we squeeze the shoulder blades on the back even more? Lengthen it out and up here for 4. Keep squeezing, keep connecting for 3. Do we feel that external rotation for 2? Last 1. Roll the hands back down, take your pause. Remember, your forearm is still pivoted out. Take your breath in. As you breathe out, palms rotate in towards each other. They swivel to face up to the ceiling. Shoulder blades hug onto the back. Keep the tension here for 4. For 3. Now, if you start to feel a little tingly, maybe release a little bit. For 2. For 1, rotate, place those palms down. 2 more. We lift the forearm and the hands to hover. We rotate them to face in. We flip the palms to face up. Shoulder blades hug onto the back for 3. For 2. For 1. Rotate, place back down. 1 more time. Lift the forearms and the hands. Rotate them to face in. Palms face up to the ceiling. Hug shoulder blades onto the back for 3. For 2. For 1, lower the palms, swivel them back, lengthen your torso to the floor. Take your breath in as you're here now. Shoulder blades on the back, lengthen the torso out and up. And can you right out of the gate feel all of that work you've just created through your mid-back? Can you stay with your torso? Slide your hands back so now your elbows are off the floor. Palms are pressing into the floor. And maybe there's room here to start to slide forward, lift the thighs off of the floor, and keep that activity through the mid-back. Roll through your toes up and back, downward dog. Woo! Thank you for workshopping that with me. Take a nice big breath in. Exhaling it out. 3 more breaths here. So keeping all of that work of zipping up through the low belly, lengthening out through the tail, pushing the floor away, all that good stuff. The pants are falling down. Inhale to lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward. As you breathe out, gentle walking up to meet your feet and your hands. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale to float it down. Press your feet through the floor as we ripple and roll our spines up, lengthening our arms up overhead. And exhale to bring the hands down. Let's inhale that left arm up. And can we side bend over to the right? We've been here before, but on the ground, yes? So let's keep our feet pressing to the floor. Let's lift up and over as we take this bend. Maybe your gaze goes to the right, leg down to the floor. Maybe it faces forward. Maybe it faces up into your hands. Take a breath in. Sort of traditionally, let's circle ourselves around to the floor, arriving in your forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale to melt it down. Step your left leg back, please, and then your right leg will find our flow. Inhaling to be long, maybe knees to the floor. As you breathe out, lower your chest. Now keep firing through that mid-back. Inhale to lengthen into extension of your choice, but keep finding those muscles. Exhale up and back, downward dog. Take a breath in here, please, team. Exhale it out. Inhale, sweep your left leg up overhead. Take your left knee in towards your chest. Let's place the left foot flat on the floor. Right foot is going to scoot forward and out to the right just a little bit. Turn those toes to 2 o'clock, sweeping up into our warrior one. Take that right arm down again. Inhale to lift up, side bend over to the right. Inhale, both arms up, left arm comes down, side bend over to the left. Inhale, both arms come up. Can we keep lifting through that chest to breathe in? As we exhale, lower through those hands. Take the back foot, step it forward. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale to melt to the floor. Press your feet through the floor as we ripple, roll ourselves all the way up. Arms can reach up overhead. Exhale, come down through heart center. Inhale, the right arm lifts up this time. As we breathe out, let's take a side bend over to the left. Remember to lift up and out of your waist here. Glue those feet to the floor. Can we feel maybe the length around our armpits? So we're not squeezing our shoulders up to our ears. There's space here. Maybe gaze looks down to the floor. Maybe it looks forward. Maybe it looks up into your hand. Take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to swoop down and circle towards the floor, finding that forward fold. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale to lower down. Step right leg back first and then left leg to find the plank of your choice. Taking an inhale. As we exhale, maybe lowering the knees now right out of the gate. Feel that mid-back. Inhale. Keep that mid-back experience as you lift your chest up. Exhale into that downward dog. 3 breaths here, please. Breathing it in. Breathing it out. Finding a moment for all of that housekeeping, right? Ribs in, floor pushing away, lengthening through the tail. Breathing it out. Inhale to start to draw the right leg forward this time. Place the right foot on the floor. Let's take the left foot forward and out to the left a little bit, planting that full foot on the floor. Left toes are turned slightly out to 10 o'clock. Reach those arms up. Breathing it in. Hand out. Left hand comes down as we go into that right side bend again. Right knee stays bent. Inhale, both arms come up, right hand comes down, side bend over to the right. Inhale, both arms come up, tip it forward in space, fire up through that back leg, step it forward. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhaling to melt it down, press your feet through the floor, ripple, roll yourself all the way up, arms extend overhead. Right away, exhaling, bowing down to the floor. Inhale up halfway. Exhale to lower down, step that right leg back, step that left leg back, finding a pause here. So you can be on your knees, remember. You could be on your forearms if you really, really want to be. You could be thighs up. Can we all take our left hands, please, wherever you are, and step it towards center and then forward a little bit? We're going to start to pivot on those legs to open out to a left side plank. You could be on your knees. You could be one leg long. You could be a foot planted up on the outside. You could be out on 2 feet. Taking a breath in here. Taking a breath out. Taking a breath in. Taking a breath out. One more time, breathe it in. Now, keep pushing that floor away. Wherever you are, can we take our right foot and plant it forward? So it's going to come in line-ish with the hips. This is where we'll meet here. And super slowly, we're gonna start to lower our hips down to the floor. Now we did all of that work opening through the shoulder, yeah? So just making sure it doesn't collapse, taking a pause to be here. Now maybe this feels fabulous. Maybe it feels very south of fabulous. If it feels fabulous and you would like to add on, you're going to press tons into your standing foot, tons into your bottom bum cheek, and lift yourself up into a side bend. As you inhale, control the descent down, hugging those legs towards each other. Check in with that shoulder. Exhale, press through your foot, your bottom bum cheek, lift your hips out and up. One more time, inhaling it down. Exhale, reach out and up, squeeze, 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 squeeze. We pivot, turn on ourselves, plant your hands down, step back into a plank, breathing it in here. Maybe you want to lift that right leg if that felt like the most fabulous option to you. When you're ready, maybe taking a little flow, lowering down. You're welcome to child's pose. You're welcome to downward dog. You're welcome to take any break that feels fabulous to you. Lifting up and back, inhaling to be here. Exhaling it out. Inhaling it in. Exhaling it out. Taking a pause. Taking a breath. Playing with your shape. Coming back into space. When you're ready, let's inhale to lift our heels. Bend your knees, look forward. On empty, make your way up for feet to meet towards hands. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale to melt it down. Press your feet through the floor. Let's ripple roll ourselves all the way up here. Lengthening it up. Right away, exhale to make ourselves make our way down to the floor. Inhale to come up halfway. Exhale it down. Let's step the left leg back. Let's step the right leg back. Let's find that plank again. So nice and long. Remember, you could be on knees. You could be on forearms. Whatever makes the most sense to you. Zip it up, zip it up, zip it up, zip it up. Maybe there's a desire for that left leg to hover here. Tons, tons, tons. It's totally up to you. Maybe you lower that leg. Maybe we bring our chest down to the floor. Inhale to come up halfway. Whatever extension makes sense to you. Exhale to push up and back. Downward dog. Breathe it in here. Breathe it out. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about our other side. I just wanted to add a nice extra little flow in there. All right, we're going to ripple forward. However makes sense to you. We're going to start to bring that right hand towards center. We're going to start to pivot onto those right toes, turning ourselves around to this second side. Breathing in, breathing out. Whew. Now, you could be on forearm if you want to. You could be on knees. You could be one leg long. But what we want to not ever stop doing is that effort of pushing into the floor, yeah? And I am going to keep my back to you so that we can sort of stay practicing in the same line, but I would like us to keep the energy flowing here. 2 more breaths. You could look up, forward, down. When you're ready, step that left foot forward so it's going to come in line-ish in front of your hips. And then we slowly descend down to the floor. Watch that bottom shoulder, yeah, that it doesn't hug forward. We want to keep it on the back. Reaching up through that bottom leg. Taking a moment's huge stretch through the hips here. And through the shoulders, yeah, because we're keeping the energy moving. Now, if you'd like to add on, we're going to press through the top foot, the bottom bum cheek. They lift you up into a nice big side bend. Slowly control your descent to the floor. Check in with that shoulder, that chest. Press through the foot, the bottom bum cheek. Lift yourself up. 2 more. Now, maybe your shoulders are not even a little bit interested in this. Definitely don't have to do it. Up and over. One more time. Inhale to control the descent down. As we breathe out, lift it up. Rotate ourselves towards the floor. Step your leg back if you would like to flow. If you would like to just hang out in a child's pose, I'm going to hang out in a child's pose for this one. Please feel free to go through your flow. Inhaling to your plank. Exhaling to melt yourself down to the floor. Now keep that mid-back working as you inhale. Lengthen up into your extension. Exhale to press back. Let's all meet in a child's pose. Inhaling it in here. Exhaling it out. If being in a child's pose feels not super duper fabulous, feel free to flip onto your back or take a posture that feels great to release your spine. Let's walk those hands over to the right, please. Breathing in, breathing out. And then through center, over to the left. Feel the right hip hugging back. Sort of closing in after all of that openness. Walking your hands back to center. If you'd like to lift up and back into that downward dog again, you're more than welcome to. Checking in with the length of your pelvis, giving that tailbone a nice big reach, pushing the floor away, drawing the rib cage in. Take a breath in here. Let's all exhale, side out through our mouths. Inhale to lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward as we breathe out, walking our feet up to meet our hands. Inhaling to come up halfway. Exhaling to melt it down and forward, bending your feet through the floor as we ripple and roll ourselves all the way up to standing. Exhale, hand down through heart center to our hips. Inhale, arms reach up. As we exhale, melting it down to the floor. Inhaling up halfway. As we exhale, lower down, step that right leg back, turn the right foot out, walk your feet maybe a smidgen wider. So we're setting up for our warrior two. Hug those legs in, windmill the arms up, and ta-da, we're here. So a little bit of housekeeping. Let's check in with that front foot. We want those toes pointed forward. And our front knee, we want it to line up with that middle space too. So let's really tuck that thigh backwards. Back foot is paralleled up with the back of our mats. Let's keep those toes pointing towards the outside edge. And then the arms can reach up. Hugging those legs in, take your inhale here. Take your breath out. Our searching warrior. Our missioned warrior. Bring the back hand down to the back thigh. Reach that front arm forward. Lift it up and back. Taking your breath in here as you breathe out. Windmill those arms all the way down. Now, not super graceful maybe, but can we pull the left thigh in, squeeze, squeeze, and then reach back into a three-legged dog. Take a breath in here as you breathe out. Pull the left knee across towards the right elbow. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Reach it up and back. Now, maybe you have no interest. Same thing. Over to the right elbow, and you would like to hold a plank of your choice. Two more. Same thing. Over towards that right elbow. Lift it up and back. One more time. Squeeze it in, squeeze it in, squeeze it in. Reach it up and back. Place the left foot down. Inhale, roll forward into your plank. Maybe dropping through the knees as we draw our chest forward in space. Inhale to lengthen out and up. Exhaling up and back, downward dog. Nice big breath in here, please, team. Exhaling it out. Inhaling it in. Exhaling it out. Can we draw that right knee in towards our chest? Place the right foot in between the hands. Let's pivot the left toes out now. So left toes are pointing towards that open left side edge. Right toes are pointing forward, setting up warrior two on our second side, windmilling ourselves all the way up. Squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. So left toes are pointing towards the outside of the mat. Right toes are pointing forward. We're trying to open out through those hips. Stay there to breathe it in. Stay there to breathe it out. Sorry about that, Instagram. I just got a little warning on the phone, so we might end up losing each other, but that's okay. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Muscles are hugging in. Beautiful contraction here. Left hand to the left thigh. Flip the right palm up. Lengthen it up and back. Inhaling and exhaling. Gaze could be down. Could be forward, it could be up. Take one more breath in. As we breathe out, let's windmill those hands all the way down. Frame the foot. Now, it might not be graceful. Can we draw the right knee in towards our chest? Reach the right leg back, three-legged dog. Breathe in, please. As we breathe out, twist the right knee over to the left elbow. Now, again, this might be absolutely of 0% interest to you in your practice, in which case, feel free to find a shape that feels really good. That could be a regular plank, could be a child's pose. Maybe it's a chair pose. Last one, squeeze it in. Inhale to reach that right leg back. Bring the right leg down. When you're ready, ripple forward into your plank. As you lower down, maybe knees, draw that chest forward. When you're ready, inhale, lengthen up into an extension of your choice. As we breathe out, let's push back, child's pose again. Big breath in, please. Exhale it out. Inhaling it in. Exhaling it out. We're going to keep the left arm. So we're going to walk the left arm forward a little bit so it's a little straighter. We're going to take the right leg out to the right, the right arm, sorry, out to the right. So we're making a little 90-degree angle. And we're going to use them as a little bit of leverage here to find some spinal mobility. So if being super crouched up on your knees doesn't feel good, open those legs wide and find a little bit of a longer spine. If you're happy, more child's pose, feel free to stay there. Using your fingertips as leverage, can you press your right hand into the floor to maybe turn your right spine around to the right? And then go the other way. Reach and twist. And rotate back to center. And beyond. Reach and twist. Twist underneath. Maybe take that right arm and thread it underneath the left. Breathing in here. Breathing out. Breathing in. As you breathe out, coming towards center. I'm going to do another option on this second side. So coming up a little bit higher. Right hand goes forward. Left arm comes out to the left. I'm a little squished for space here, but we're making it work. As we inhale, we press into that left hand to draw our chest around to the left. As we breathe out, we twist it in and under. Inhaling to twist. Now, if you don't like being on your arms, you could absolutely be just sort of seated upright, right? And twist into yourself this way. Super fabulous option. You're still getting that rotation through your thoracic spine. One more time around to the left. Maybe take that left hand as you turn to the right and thread it through. You could definitely be further up in your weight. You could also be resting down on your heels. Taking your breath in and taking your breath out. Inhaling it in and exhaling it out. When you're ready, bringing your right hand in, pressing in to come all the way up onto hands and knees. Let's scoot those legs around towards the front of our mat. Adding a little bit more abs here if you would like to participate. So planting the feet on the floor. We're going to start with those arms reaching forward. We're going to super focus on scooping through that low belly. Inhaling to be nice and tall as you breathe out. Scoop into like deep, deep, deep pubic bone to belly button area. Inhaling here and exhaling to stay. Can you imagine like you're holding onto some straps here? We're breathing in, and as you breathe up, pull the right arm as you twist around to the right. Inhaling, it comes towards center. Let's left arm around to the left. Inhaling towards center, keep scooping, right arm to the right. And as you're doing this, you're trying to keep your hips as stable as possible. You're trying to scoop as much as you can into that low belly. Now, maybe your legs would like to go long as your back isn't bothering you, yeah? One more time to the left. Bring those arms forward now, super slow as you can. We're rolling all the way down to the floor. Nice job. Coming back to a shape we started with, but adding on to it, planting those feet down, taking your breath in. As you breathe out, scoop and roll through that low belly. Start to lift your hips up, back up into that shoulder bridge. Now, please avoid tucking your shoulders underneath you. That's really not going to do anything to help build strength. We're going to hug the heels towards the glutes. We're going to make sure that pelvis is balanced. Now, maybe here it feels reasonable to roll up to your right toes. So your right heel is hovered off of the floor. Make sure your hips haven't changed. Maybe lift the right leg up to a tabletop. Maybe reach that right leg out. But the rule of success here is that the hips have to stay stable. Wherever that means for you, we're going to pulse those hips up for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Pull your right leg in wherever it was. Gently roll your lovely selves to the ground. Inhaling here. As we breathe out, scoop, tuck, and roll, lifting those hips up towards the ceiling. Keep hugging in. Now this time, roll up towards the left toes. Maybe the left heel hovers. If the hips can stay stable here, can we take the left leg up to a tabletop? Maybe we reach the left leg out. Keeping those hips nice and level, let's pulse those hips up for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, take that left leg, lower it back in, and gently roll all the way down. Bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a little rock side to side. Inhaling it in. Exhaling it out. Let's add a little twist here, taking those legs all the way over to the right. Left arm can reach up overhead, finding the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. It's nice to find a bit of space, a bit of peace, hopefully a little bit of quiet. I do my best to make this space as we practice as quiet and calm as possible so that if you'd like to add music, you can. If you want a quiet space, you have it. So feel free to freestyle and add in whatever you need, if you need. Bringing those legs back to center, let's give ourselves just a little rock across that low spine, and then we'll take the twist in the opposite direction. So legs are going to go over to the left, right arm is going to reach up overhead. Inhaling to be long here, exhaling to soften into the space. Breathing in and out. Starting to wind down our breath and our energy from our practice. Lots of work today through the upper back posture muscles, connecting to your glutes and your abs, and your breath as always. When you're ready, bringing those legs back up to center, hugging legs into chest. If you'd like to find a happy baby, please feel free. So lengthening the legs up. Now maybe grabbing a hold of ankles and drawing the thighs towards the floor feels fabulous. Maybe hands to outside of feet, drawing down feels super fabulous. Maybe a little rock across that low back. Breathing in and out here. When you're ready, gently, sweetly letting those legs come in. Bring your knees into your chest, nod your chin up, give yourself a nice curl, 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 and exhale out to the floor. Setting up for your Shavasana. So I love grabbing a blanket for behind my head or on my body. If it's a bit nippity noodles, maybe grabbing or collecting a pillow for underneath your knees. Oh, thanks, Emily. Bringing ourselves all the way down. Shavasana really is the most advanced postures in our practice, one of the most advanced postures in our practice. Believe it or not. So if it feels difficult to lie and be still, know that that makes complete sense. And if it feels easy or very much like what your body needs to come down and take a moment, I recommend a little bit of restorative yoga too. Closing your eyes if you'd like, checking in with your breath. I have chimes with me, so I'm going to bring myself up and add the chimes in, but if you would rather not listen to them and just stay in your own sweet space, please feel free to turn me off and mute me. Instagram, I will give you a heads up. There's a chance we might lose each other just through the end of this practice, so thank you so much for being here with me. Taking those breaths in through your nose and releasing them back out. If you are super happy as you are, please feel free to stay there. If you would like to close practice together, taking a few extra moments to deepen through your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. When you're ready, starting to add a little bit of movement, maybe a wiggle of fingers and toes, maybe a deepening of breath. Maybe a yawn. Eventually making our way over onto one side and just taking a slight pause here. Moment as we're still connected with our torso, our heart's cavity towards the earth, to give a bit of thanks and recognition to the indigenous folks of wherever it is you are practicing. Recognizing our truth of being, well, my truth of being a settler on this land. And so honoring and knowing that this place, Turtle Island, belongs to the birds, the plants, the soil, the dust, and the people who are indigenous here. When you're ready, gently guiding yourself upright. Maybe you'd like to remain eyes closed, or maybe you'd like to dim them down and inwards or a little bit forward. Bringing your hands together, giving them a little rub just to create a little bit of heat and fire here. And then placing those hands over your heart or heart center. Gently bowing inwards. It is with so much gratitude that I thank you for allowing me to be your blueprint for your practice today. And I offer gratitude to you for showing up for yourself in your practice. And also, if that included lying on your mat for 60 minutes, beautiful practice. I offer hope that we may move forward individually and collectively with open-mindedness, curiosity, patience, and bravery. Thank you so much for allowing me here. I hope we meet again. Thank you, thank you, thank you.